My brother didn't steal from me. He stole from our parents. The hardest part was watching everyone act like nothing had happened, including me. I remember standing in my mother's kitchen after the funeral. The coffee had gone cold. Paper plates were stacked by the sink. People were hugging each other and quietly heading home. My older brother, Mike, slipped a thick folder into his briefcase. He looked at me and said, "Mom wanted it this way." I nodded. For years, I almost believed him. My name's Tom. I'm 64 years old. I retired 3 years ago after delivering mail for nearly 35 years. My wife and I have been married for 38 years. We raised 2 kids, a daughter and a son. I've had a pretty ordinary life, which is exactly how I wanted it. Mike is 3 years older than I am. Growing up, we weren't best friends, but we weren't rivals either. He liked baseball. I preferred fishing. He talked more. I listened more. That was about it. Our parents never played favorites. At least, not that I ever saw. Every Christmas looked about the same. Dad carved the turkey. Mom complained that nobody helped in the kitchen until we all finally got up and pretended to. Sunday dinners lasted half the afternoon. Dad always finished with coffee. Mom always cut one more slice of pie than anybody planned to eat. Looking back, those afternoons felt like they'd never end. Dad had one sentence he repeated almost every holiday. "When your mother and I are gone," he'd point his coffee spoon at Mike and me. "All you'll have left is each other." We'd roll our eyes. He'd laugh. Mom would tell him to stop talking like that. I never imagined those words would turn into the one promise our family couldn't keep. Dad passed away after a short illness. He was 84. Losing him hurt. But Mom was still there. We all focused on taking care of her. Mike handled most of the appointments because he lived 15 minutes away. I was almost an hour out. It made sense. I appreciated it. Never questioned it. 18 months later, we buried Mom. The house felt different without her. Too clean, too quiet. Even the clock in the hallway sounded louder. After everyone came back from the cemetery, family gathered around the dining room table. There were folders, bank statements, a few legal papers. Mike sat at the head of the table. He answered questions before anyone finished asking them. "I already took care of that. The lawyer has copies. That account's been closed." Everything seemed organized. Too organized. At one point I asked, "Can I see the paperwork?" He tapped the folder beside his chair. "It's all been handled." The room went quiet. Nobody argued. Neither did I. Not because I trusted him completely, because I trusted my mother. I couldn't imagine she'd let anything unfair happen. So I let it go, at least for a while. A few weeks later, I stopped by the local bank. Mom had one old savings account that still needed to be closed. The woman behind the counter had worked there for years. She knew my parents. She recognized me right away. "I'm sorry about your mother," she said. "Thank you." She looked at her computer for a moment, then frowned. "I thought your brother told you." I looked up. "Told me what?" She froze. You could almost see her realizing she'd said too much. "I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have said anything." "What are you talking about?" She glanced toward the office behind her. "I'm really not allowed to discuss private account information." I nodded. I understand. But something's bothering you. She hesitated, then quietly said, "You may want to speak with the attorney who handled your mother's estate." That was all, but it was enough. The next morning, I called the attorney's office. A week later, I was sitting across from him. He opened a file, adjusted his glasses, and started walking me through paperwork I'd never seen before. Months before Mom passed away, she transferred nearly everything into joint ownership with Mike. The house, most of her savings, several investment accounts. Perfectly legal. Every signature was there. Every form had been filed correctly. I asked one question. Did she ever mention discussing this with me? He looked uncomfortable. No. I drove home without turning on the radio. Halfway there, I pulled into an empty grocery store parking lot. I shut off the engine. The paperwork stayed in my hands for almost half an hour. I looked at the papers, folded them, opened them again. I must have read my mother's signature 10 times. It still didn't feel real. Mom had spent her whole life making sure everything was equal. Why would she suddenly do this? Then another thought hit me. Or had it really been her idea? That night, I told my wife everything. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she asked, "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." "You going to sue him?" I looked down at my coffee. No. Not until I know the truth. I called Mike the next day. "We need to talk." "What about?" "You know what about." A long pause. Finally, he said, "Fine. The lake, Saturday morning." It was the same lake Dad had taken us fishing since we were kids. Somehow, that seemed like the right place. He was already sitting at one of the picnic tables when I got there. 2 cups of gas station coffee, one in front of him, one waiting for me. For a second, it almost felt normal. I sat down. Neither of us touched the coffee. I pulled the paperwork from an envelope and laid it on the table. I saw all of it. He looked down, didn't even bother pretending to be surprised. Finally, he sighed. "I did what I thought was best." I looked him straight in the eye. "No. You did what was best for you." He looked away. That was the first honest answer I'd gotten all morning. The words came out calmer than I expected. He rubbed both hands across his face. Mom agreed. "Maybe she did," I nodded. "I'm not saying she didn't sign the papers." He looked relieved for half a second. Then I finished. "But Dad would have never let this happen." The relief disappeared. He stared across the lake. Neither of us spoke. A boat passed in the distance. The water barely moved. After a while, I stood up. "I didn't come here for the money." He looked at me. "I came here for the truth." I folded the papers, slipped them back into the envelope. "I've got it." Then I walked back to my truck. He never tried to stop me. For a while, that was the end of it. Mike never called. I never called him. We still showed up to the same family birthdays, the same Thanksgiving dinners. If someone took a picture, we stood in it together. If someone made a joke, we both smiled. From the outside, nothing had changed. Inside, everything had. A few months later, my daughter stopped by one afternoon. She found me in the garage, sorting through old fishing gear. Dad's tackle box sat open on the workbench. She picked up one of the old lures. "I remember this," I smiled. "Your grandpa caught more fish with that thing than anyone I've ever known." She turned it over in her hand, then looked at me. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Are you ever going to forgive Uncle Mike?" I set the tackle box down, thought about it longer than she probably expected. "I've already let go of the money." She waited. "But trust," I shook my head. "That's different." She didn't say anything, so I kept talking. "I don't hate him. I don't wake up angry. But I'm not going to pretend nothing happened." She nodded slowly. "I think I understand. I hope you never have to." That conversation stayed with me. I'd always thought forgiveness fixed things. It doesn't. Sometimes it just means you stop carrying the anger. Trust, that's something both people have to rebuild. And sometimes only one of them wants to. Almost a year passed before I said more than a few words to Mike. It happened at another funeral. An uncle this time. The older we got, the fewer family gatherings started with good news. The service ended. People drifted toward the parking lot in small groups. I was unlocking my truck when I heard footsteps behind me. It was Mike. He looked older than I remembered, not because of the gray hair, because something about him seemed heavier. He stood beside me for a moment, hands in his pockets. "I've been thinking." I waited. "About what you said?" I nodded. Neither of us rushed to fill the silence. Finally, he looked down at the pavement. Dad would have been disappointed. I looked at him. For the first time in a long while, I believed he actually meant it. "Yeah." I closed the truck door. That's the part that still hurts. He gave a small nod. No excuses, no apology. Maybe he knew one wouldn't be enough. Maybe I knew it too. Some things can't be fixed in a parking lot. When I got home, I walked into the garage before going inside. Dad's old tackle box was still sitting on the shelf where I'd left it. I opened it. Inside were 2 fishing lures, one scratched from years of use, the other still sealed in its original package. Dad used to say he was saving that one for a special day. I don't think he ever found one special enough. I set the 2 lures side by side, closed the lid, put the box back on the shelf. Then I turned off the garage light. My brother didn't take the inheritance. He took something our father spent a lifetime trying to build.